It's absolutely disgusting to me that with all the grand problems that we currently have in this country, and have no delusions about it, those problems are numerous, have been numerous for many years, and only continue to grow in size and scope by the day. With all of these different things that need to be addressed, that need to be fixed, real problems that are going to be even bigger problems down the road, we've got people already in 2013 trying to position themselves as their party's candidate for president in the 2016 presidential race. This week you saw a perfect example of it as Senator Ted Cruz, the freshman senator from Texas, officially threw his hat into the ring and said, "You know what? Stand up, look at me, pay attention to me. By God, I want to be president." This is absolutely disgusting. Now, the first red flag to me should be that this guy's a Tea Party darling. To me, if the Tea Party likes him, unless their name is Ron Paul, as a general rule, that should indicate that they are morons. The Tea Party, by and large, is full of morons who were so upset about government spending and so many other things that they turned a total blind eye during George Bush's 8 years. And as soon as the black guy got elected, all of a sudden they're protesting in Washington and around the country. Gee, I wonder why that was. The bottom line is, the fact that the Tea Party even supports somebody like a Senator Ted Cruz should already make you pause. It should make you wonder. It should make you question. Think about it. This is the same Tea Party that has ravenously endorsed people such as Sarah Palin, Christine O'Donnell, Michelle Bachmann. Those rocket scientists right there. Yes. Think about that. Palin, O'Donnell, Bachmann, and many more, is now starting to enthusiastically come out of the woodworks. All 33% of them in the Republican Party, 1/3 of the Republican Party or so, is foaming at the mouth over this condescending, self-promoting windbag from the great state of Texas, Senator Ted Cruz, the Canadian Texan, if you will. So we know that Ted Cruz, if you didn't already know, is a horribly kept secret. If you didn't know before, you should really know now that this guy really wants to be your next president. And he's making real no secret about it. He really isn't. So you get this whole thing of he wants to filibuster Obamacare. He wants to fight against Obamacare. He's going to filibuster in an attempt to try and get the Congress to defund Obamacare in order to prevent a government shutdown. Now, you would think Ted Cruz, somebody who is a tremendously successful lawyer in the private sector, who would understand history and understand the stupidity of his strategy. Now, the first thing that I need to point out about this windbag and his stupidity is the fact that he's talking about filibustering something when he's not really filibustering anything at all. Whether or not you like it, and I don't like it, Obamacare. It's law. It's been found to be constitutional. The tie-breaking vote was a conservative justice, John Roberts, your Chief Justice. He deemed it constitutional. It's law. It's going to happen. He didn't sit here when he's speaking for 21 hours talking about this, that, and everything, reading Green Eggs and Ham. He didn't sit there and delay any votes. He didn't delay anything from happening. He just used it as a pulpit for shameless self-promotion. Now, I would ask somebody that is a Tea Party individual who is supposed to be against wasteful government spending, even though you didn't say anything about wasteful wars like Iraq and Afghanistan and this terrible war on terrorism that continues to bankrupt this country and give away to the industrial military complex that continues to make us slaves to our debt. You're supposed to be against things such as, wasting taxpayer money. Wouldn't you think that paying somebody to do nothing for 21 hours would be classified as a tremendous waste of taxpayer dollars? Now, I understand, since he's a senator and he spoke for 21 hours straight, that you might consider that in most weeks, that's his work week, 21 hours. So he had a hard day. He had a hard week. He actually had to work more than 20 hours. Now, he said he was going to sit there and talk until he couldn't stand anymore. That is, until he had to make a scheduled appearance on Rush Limbaugh. That's the type of principle this guy really has. You know, it's this whole thing, Obamacare. Republicans are trying to use this as a scare tactic. People don't even know what's in Obamacare. The people that hate Obamacare, by and large, don't even know what the hell Obamacare is. The reason I don't like Obamacare is because to me, all it does is reward the people that have created an evil system of sickness care, not health care or wellness care, and that is the insurance companies. Sure, we'll cover people with pre-existing conditions because you're going to give us 35 or 40 million more people that are going to have to pay in premiums, which means more revenues for us, The only people that win in it are the fucking insurance companies. But Senator Ted Cruz, somebody who's such a brilliant lawyer, can't even understand how ridiculous his own strategy is. You're going to fight to defund something that, when implemented, could potentially make a Republican victory in the 2016 presidential race a snap, where you could win in a damn near landslide fashion and be able to overturn the law when you have the full power of the government. Why in the hell would you attempt to defund something that in a couple of years could be your pathway to an easy victory? If you're a Republican right now, you should be like, let Obamacare be funded. I'm opposed to it. I tried to tell you it's stupid. Let's go a couple of years with this, and by 2016, by God, you're really going to understand how bad this was and who the only people were that really benefited from this. But it kind of goes into this whole thing of, you know, you threaten defunding Obamacare to force the Democrats' hands to prevent a government shutdown, and we'll call their bluff. How did that work for Gingrich in the mid-90s? That was a major role. It played a vital role in Bill Clinton getting reelected in 96. He was able to successfully blame the legislature for the government shutdowns. Why? Because the legislature was Republican controlled, you fucking moron. The House of Representatives is Republican controlled. And if you're sitting there as a senator and you're trying to fight to defund Obamacare and you're holding shit up and you sit there and you help be the face of a government shutdown, the Congress, which already has a horrible approval rating with the people, all deserved and probably deserves an even lower approval rating, will blame who? The Republicans, you dipshit. You're trying to sit there and use the Barack Hussein Obama strategy against Barack Hussein Obama. You're trying to oppose while not proposing anything of your own. What are you going to sit there and do? Say, well, defund Obamacare. This is cancer to the economy. It's this, it's that. It's going to add to the debt. You're not really explaining how. You're not really showing how because you don't freaking know. All the while, you're not really proposing anything at all. That's what Democrats do, you dumbass. You're trying to use the Democrat playbook against the Democrats. You're trying to use the liberal playbook against the liberals. You're trying to use Barack Obama's freaking bread and butter against Barack Obama. I promise you this. Barack Hussein Obama can do it much better than you, Ted Cruz. I guarantee you that one. You want to keep going down this oppose versus propose type of path, all it's going to do is blow up in your face. And if you're trying to position yourself so badly for 2016, which everybody can clearly see now that you really are, let's look at 2016. You're going to try and run as the most conservative candidate. You're going to appeal to the Tea Party, which maybe constitutes perhaps a third of the total GOP envelope. So you're going to hope that that third, maybe with a few other people kicking in, is going to be enough to win you the primary. Then you're going to hope that these Republicans are all going to unite behind you, and somehow being whacked out conservative and being way, way far right, lunatic right almost, you're going to be able to get some left of center people and some moderate Democrats to flip over to you? Really? This is the whole fallacy of the Republican philosophy in recent years. They've sit there and nominated McCain, claiming he was a moderate, even though he ran far right in 2008. Then turned around in 2012, stuck with the old white guy philosophy, and went with another rich asshat, much richer one this time in Mitt Romney, who was supposed to be a moderate but tried to run as a far-right guy. And then the idiots like Limbaugh and Hannity and O'Reilly are sitting there saying, this is what happens when you nominated a moderate. No, they ran as freaking far-right conservative whack jobs. They didn't run as moderates when they ran for president. And they got creamed by Obama. They got creamed by the Democratic ground game. They got creamed by the Obama machine. You're going to try and win an election running too far to the right of everyone and everything, trying to be that Buckley type of viable conservative candidate, which may or may not necessarily translate to being a winning type of Republican candidate, all the while trying to appeal to a small sliver of the overall voting bloc, trying to overcome the Obama ground game infrastructure, which will still be in place, while potentially having to run against the Clinton machine. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Obama held almost every state that he won in 2008 and 2012, with the exceptions of Indiana and North Carolina. And Ted Cruz is going to try and run farther right, even than McCain ran in 2008 or Romney ran in 2012. And he's going to try and pick off some of these swing states that Obama held both in 2008 and as a much weaker candidate even in 2012. And he's going to do that against somebody, let's say, like a Hillary Clinton, who has a Bill Clinton as her freaking surrogate. Who is he going to trot out there as his great big surrogate? George W. Bush? You remember that, ladies and gentlemen, the last time the great state of Texas gave us a president? How'd that work out for this country? We're still paying the fucking price for it. The one thing I don't like is when people proclaim that they're doing something out of principle when they're doing anything but. Make no mistake about it. Ted Cruz is yet another puppet. He's yet another sellout. Don't you buy his bullshit for a second. This whole crap about defunding Obamacare, he knows it's not going to happen. If a government shutdown happens and he's associating himself with wanting that to happen, then he's going to take his party down even further into the shithole than it already is. He's using an oppose versus propose strategy that Obama does better. That's Obama's fucking bread and butter. And you're trying to position yourself in 2016 to potentially run against Hillary frickin' Clinton, who will still have the Obama ground game working for her. She'll be able to get some moderate Republicans to flip over because they're going to associate her with the great times for most people that were the 90s. And she's got Bill Clinton as a surrogate. You're going to trot out there people like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly and George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. And yeah, because that's really good, isn't it? You know, even people in your own party hate you. People like McCain and Bob Corker, Lindsey Graham, they hate you. Now, that doesn't necessarily make you a bad individual, but they do hate you. At some point in time, you have to get those people to kind of respect you and like you if you want to be president. All you are is another self-promoting Ivy League elitist windbag. And the last couple of presidents, the current one, the previous one, elitist Ivy League windbags that haven't done a whole lot of good for us. And you want us to elect another Ivy League windbag in you? Senator Ted Cruz, for the love of God, stop trying to out-crazy the crazies. Stop trying to appeal to the Tea Party whack jobs. Stop trying to sit there and shamelessly promote yourself on this pulpit of principle, which is total baloney, total bullshit, and you damn good and well know it. You're filibustering that's not even filibustering. You're sitting there talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the topic. Reading Green Eggs and Hams. Are you frickin' Strom Thurmond? Are you going to read the damn phone book? At least when Strom Thurmond did it, he was actually filibustering. He was actually trying to delay a vote on legislation. This was nothing more than a shameless attempt at self-promotion at taxpayer expense. So Senator Ted Cruz, I hope at some point in time that any buzz surrounding you quickly dissipates and that you go the fuck away. So please, in the meantime, until that happens, could you do me and everyone else a favor? Senator Ted Cruz, would you please shut the hell up?